Okay, so we've moved the camera around, we've animated, at least located it in space. Let me do some animation. So the first thing we're going to do is take the camera in its position and animate the camera's position. Leave the orientation and rotation alone. We're just going to move this camera around in flat space and physically move it around in all three dimensions. So the position, I think, better to separate the dimensions around. So we have X, Y, and Z. And let's turn off the graph editor real quickly. First of all, I'm going to have the camera really centrally located here. So with the camera tool here, I can either, with the middle mouse button, just pan the camera. And with the right mouse button, I can zoom in. So again, you've seen this camera zooming in here. Not zooming, it's a truck. It's physically trucking the camera toward the viewport. Let me set this to fit here. So my first order of the business is going to get this first one done. So I'm going to pan the middle mouse button so that it centers it right there. Cool. I'm going to click on X, Y, and Z. I'm going to click on keyframes for all those positions. So this is going to be there when it first pops in. So in second, what I want to do is I'm going to have it move in on this keyframe here. So I'm setting a keyframe for first, then I'm going to move it in. And I can just move the Z position like this and zoom in. Or again, I can use the control here, either the track Z camera and track in, or the unified tool. I prefer the unified camera tool, so the middle mouse button I can pan over. And second is going to become much more important. So it goes first is there, bang, and then second is there. And then third pops down there, and that's the third keyframe. So use the middle mouse button, pan downward, and right mouse button, zoom inward. Again, I'm using the unified camera tool. There we go. So I got first, second, and third. Let's grab all those keyframes there. Oops. Sorry. Grab all the keyframes and right click. Go to Keyframe Assistant, Easy Ease. And now they should be a little softer. And I have it hold this keyframe though. This keyframe is sitting there and it doesn't really stay there very long before it moves to the second one. So I'm going to have it actually, I'm going to copy these keyframes. Again, Control C. I'm going to select the keyframes, copy them, move over here, and Control V to paste them in. It's a little static, so I'm clicking the keyframe positions, go to the curve editor, and click on frame view. A little static here. I'm going to pull this one Z frame down a little bit. Kind of angle this a little bit more. Holding the Alt key, I can kind of unify those handles. They're the same size. I'm just going to Alt, right mouse button. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Just going to close handles again with the Alt button. Just have a little more smoothness. The x-axis 2. Again, if you hold the Shift Alt or Spacebar Alt, you can scale these up and right and back. Spacebar to go upward. Yeah, there's a little plateaued right there. It's a little bit kind of jolting, I think. So I'll drag this guy and pull it up a little bit. Just to get a little softness there, so it's not quite so staticky. Turn this block off. There we go. It's a little softer transition. So it holds there, but it's kind of a moving hold, call it. Spacebar again. There you go. So it's kind of a typical effect you see a lot in motion graphics. So you can move the camera around even in 3 dimensions if we wanted to. There's nothing saying we can't turn this to actually to angle a little bit, so that the third angle, we could use the orbit tool and orbit around like this and actually kind of incur some third dimension. Use the unified tool again, middle mouse drag. Focus again on third. Now I've got orientation going on. Now I never really animated the X, Y, and Z rotations. And I'm also animating orientation. By default, when you use this orbiting tool, it does it all on orientation. So now everything is oriented and sort of stuck there and not looking at the right the right frame. So let me get rid of that I just did. Zero this out again. So it's super easy to fix. Back to that. And back to 0, 0, 0. And I can just change the position that I had. The position keys, go back to that keyframe and just kind of adjust the x-axis here and I think the y-axis there. And maybe the z-axis too. So I'm coming a little bit more aggressively on that last little bit. Okay, so I'm actually going to go back to the original here and do a keyframe on X, Y, and Z rotations. Come through here and just keep it flat for a little while. I'll just keyframe those guys again. Keyframe on an existing keyframe. So I'm on the existing keyframe that I had here before, the third keyframe. The keyframe on that, just to keep things nice and organized and lined up. And zoom to see all the curves there. And here, as we go out to this guy, I'm just going to incorporate a little bit of animation. So again, I'm locking it to the keyframes I have on position, which are here. There. Going back to orientation and just playing around with the orientation of the y-axis. So if I choose a y-axis this way or that way, I can do that, but then I have to go to the x position to slide it over. Since I lined up the rotation with the position, I'm lining all the keyframes up, so it works out really well, I think. And I can zoom in a little further. Adjust the position this way. It takes a little bit of playing around. I've done this a lot over the years, so I kind of feel pretty comfortable with what I'm doing. But it does take some practice. So now I've got a little bit of three-dimensionality. Things kind of angle a little bit toward the camera, so it's kind of a cool thing you can do. It kind of gives it a little bit more three-dimensionality. Cool. The next video I'm going to go over is going to be the animated text, but since it's about 10 o'clock, yeah, I can do that I'll do one more video for you guys. Cool.